The winds of change are blowing across the African continent, and the world is watching. Let us rise to the occasion not just as participants in history, but as architects of a brighter future. Together we can and will shape a stronger, more resilient, and more united Africa. This retreat presents an opportunity for candid dialogue and bold action. Let us approach our discussions with open minds and a shared commitment to progress. The reforms we champion here are not merely procedural. They are about the future of our people, the realization of Agenda 2063, and Africa's rightful place on the global stage. Let us leave here united in our resolve to build an African Union that truly reflects the aspiration of the African people, a union that is capable of meeting the challenges of today and the opportunities of tomorrow.
The latest. Thank you for your love and support. President of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, powerful speech at African Union meeting. You know, Captain Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goïta, and Abdurrahmane Tchiani's message is now the national anthem in Africa and worldwide. So every African leader who is coming into power is trying to make sure that they follow the path of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Captain Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goïta, Abdurrahmane Tchiani are all in all our saviors, our unifiers, the most loud, have brought a wave. And they are trying to let those who are sleeping for a very long time, who are not thinking about the African, to wake up and start thinking about African. I was just lying there and somebody called me and said the latest. Did you hear what the president of Ghana is saying? That now AU have to do everything possible to champion the Pan-Africanism. That the youth today are fighting for African unity. And that the organization has to be for the people. They have to start putting in policies, strategies, and everything that is going to benefit the African. And they have to also involve the youth. That they have neglected the youth. And we are the youngest population in the world. And the youth must be heard. That our voices are silenced. And now, they need to make sure they create policies and other things that will bring us into the political arena for our voices to be heard. Because now he has come to realize that Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, they are led by young, energetic men. And we are seeing the dimension in everything, in every aspect, you see. So, they have to involve us.
Initial aim of our founding fathers, which is liberation from colonial rule. Your Excellencies, today we gather not just as leaders, but as stewards of a vision of an Africa that is united, self-reliant, and prosperous. This vision was first articulated by the founders of the Organization of African Unity, and later advanced by the establishment of the African Union, and it remains our guiding light and principle. Yet as we stand at the crossroads of opportunity and challenge, we must critically reflect on our progress and recalibrate our strategies to meet the evolving needs of our continent. The reform agenda of the African Union is a bold and necessary initiative aimed at transforming our continental body into a more efficient, financially independent, and effective institution. The African Union, as our collective institution, has achieved remarkable milestones in its journey, and that is from spearheading the African Continental Free Trade Area to advancing peace and security through initiatives such as the African Union Mission in Somalia, AMISOM, and the African Peace and Security Architecture, APSA. The AU has demonstrated its potential as a unifying force. However, the challenges we face today demand more than just incremental progress. They require some bold and transformative reforms. Our continent faces a unique set of challenges: youth unemployment, food insecurity, climate change, governance deficits, and conflicts in many regions. At the same time, we're witnessing global shifts that necessitate a reimagining of Africa's place in the world. The African Union must evolve to become more agile, efficient, and impactful in addressing these new challenges. The AU must streamline its decision-making processes to ensure that they are timely and results-oriented. Bureaucratic inefficiencies undermine the confidence of our citizens and international partners, and overlapping mandates which hinder effective decision-making. By streamlining the AU commissions, clarifying roles, and eliminating redundancies, we can establish a more agile organization that is better equipped to address the evolving needs of our continent. Efficiency must be the guiding principle in how we conduct our affairs, ensuring that our policies and programs translate into real change for our people. We must adopt mechanisms that prioritize accountability, transparency, and value for money, ensuring that every resource is maximized for the benefit of the African people. Your Excellencies, one of the fundamental pillars of reform is AU's financial autonomy. The over-reliance on external partners for funding compromises the organization's independence and ability to set its own agenda. The implementation of the Kigali decision on financing the Union must be expedited. A self-reliant African Union is not just a vision we have, it is an imperative to achieve. Your Excellencies, without peace there can be no development. The AU must strengthen its capacity to prevent, mediate, and resolve conflicts. This includes adequately resourcing the African Standby Force and leveraging partnerships to address emergency threats such as terrorism, cybercrime, and climate-induced displacements. Indeed, this is very important for us, especially in West Africa, considering the challenge we face from terrorism. Africa's future lies in its youth. Over 60% of our population is under the age of 25, and yet their voices are largely absent in policymaking. We must institutionalize frameworks that empower our young people and our women to lead at all levels of governance. And I'm happy to report that in the last election, for the first time in Ghana's history, we elected a woman as our vice president. The energy of our youth, creativity, and vision are the drivers of the Africa that we all seek to build. The African Continental Free Trade Area has set the foundation for a single African market, but much work remains to be done. We must address the barriers to trade, we must harmonize regulatory framework, and invest in infrastructure to unlock the potential of intra-African trade. Additionally, the AU must champion technological innovation and digital transformation as catalysts for economic growth and inclusion. And in this, we wish that the African payment system that allows us to pay seamlessly for goods traded between our countries is expedited so that we can have a system of exchange. Ladies and gentlemen, none of these reforms will succeed without committed leadership at every level of the African Union. We as heads of states and government have a duty to lead by example, to prioritize the collective good of our people over our parochial interests, and to act decisively in the interest of our continent. But leadership does not end with us. The Union must foster partnerships with civil society, the private sector, and the African diaspora, whose contributions are vital in shaping and implementing reforms. This is a shared responsibility, and together we can achieve the African Union we all envision. To achieve a conflict-free Africa, we must strengthen the Africa Standby Force and enhance our collaboration with regional economic communities. A well-coordinated and responsive security mechanism will allow us to address conflicts swiftly without over-reliance on external actors. Additionally, good governance, respect for human rights, and the consolidation of democracy must remain at the heart of our efforts to maintain stability and peace across our dear continent.
Them to always come and sweet talk us for us to vote for them. That's what we are good at. But now they've got to understand that no, that's not the narrative, because these youth that we have thinking that they have nothing in them really have something that they can offer. Looking at the developmental projects that we are seeing in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, the weapon manufacturing, the solar planet, the tomato factory, the common bank, the common passports, the ideologies, the allies, and everything that they are doing to make sure that Africa is self-sufficient. According to him, security is very important and it's very crucial when it comes to Africa. And so the AU have to do everything possible to invest in security. And AU has done well, because according to him, looking at the amount of money that they've injected into the AU standby force that even went to Somalia to fight what, that's what they are saying, according to John Dramani Mahama. So they have to do more, because we are faced with insecurity, looking at what is happening in West Africa. We know this insecurity. We can never fight them if we don't chase away the military bases that we have in Africa. We living among ourselves wouldn't have any problem living together. But there are some forces somewhere that will sit and make sure they give us something to the youths that have nothing to do. The employment that we are asking you to create for us to have something to do that you are not doing. So when these people finally come into Africa, they group these people, get them something, then they will be destabilizing the continent and the sub-region, so that whatsoever they want in Africa, they will keep carrying them away. Africa can never be free if we still have foreign military bases on our soil. If we want these peace to reign in Africa, we have to do everything possible to move these foreign bases that we have. These people came in the name of helping us to fight insecurity for decades. We are not seeing anything. Look at what is happening in DR Congo. UN security forces have been there to help Congolese fight for freedom. But for decades and centuries now, Congo haven't known peace. So that should tell us clearly that we can do everything that we can, and we do not need these people. The moment we try to take them out of our environment, we will live a happy lifestyle. We will have the peace that we are looking for. So if truly you want to tackle the security aspects in Africa, then we have to move these military bases that we have on our soil. We can fight our own security. We don't need these people. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have done everything possible to tell us that everything is possible. And that was why when they came into office, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso decided to kick out the foreign bases that they have on their soil, because they've realized that these are the ones that are causing the problem. We are still seeing the insurgencies in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso because these people do not want to leave, and they don't want it to look as if it's because they left. That's why now Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are having peace. So they have to still create this kind of insurgencies in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to look as if when they left, Africa has not been able to fight its own security. But that isn't the narrative. According to John Dramani Mahama, again, we have to involve the women in our governance. Africa, we have left the women at home, always thinking that the African woman is only good in the kitchen. We are not only good in the kitchen, because we also help in the upbringing of the children. When the children become successful, they say the father. But when the children are going wayward, we say the mother didn't train the child well. So we also deserve to be heard. We need to be inclusive when it comes to decision making. We have queen mothers and women who rose to fight for Africa liberation. We have Amanarena, Queen Nzinga, Ya Asantwa, Nani, and so many of them who also helped in the liberation of the African continent. So it is high time you include us fully in the affairs of Africa, because we can also contribute to safeguard our motherland. This is beautiful that today our leaders are rising and they are not trying to wake up from sleep. But we hope that John Dramani Mahama, as you are coming and you've started beautifully well with speeches, you will not be like the other ones. Now Africa, we are no longer interested in leaders who come and talk like what we are seeing in India, Congo. The man will come and talk. But according to report, he's the one backing the M23 rebel group that are destabilizing Congo. We don't want that kind of leadership. So if you are coming and you are talking, please be a doer at the same time, so that Africa will move forward. Our strength lies in our unity. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we stand together forever and ever. So please, let's keep sharing and educating our brothers and sisters, so that we'll give a better Africa to the next generations that are coming. And when we are mentally free, we'll be able to educate and train our children, so what we'll leave behind, they will be able to protect and fight and defend forever and ever. Mental slavery is the biggest enemy of Africa. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, West Africa, and in Ghana.